Hello, welcome back. We are here and we are back.
Yep.
And
I'm back as well.
He is back as well.
Yep.
I am back as well because I was not here before.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm Lorenzo from BojukaPod. He's Andrea from BojukaPod.
That's
We
me.
are both from BojukaPod.
Yeah.
We are now streaming the semifinals. Semifinals for the main event here in Paupergeddon Lecco 2024, the winter edition. We are now seeing the semifinals of Gabriele Tocchi and Fabrizio Campanino.
Yeah. We got Jeskai, Ephemerate versus Blue Black Fairies,
Yes.
right? It's gonna be a pretty nice matchup in my opinion. Like, this is the magic I like usually. Blue deck versus blue deck, grinding and like tearing apart each other until somebody wins by one or two
Finally
chunks or
some
points of
value,
damage.
a value matchup.
Yeah.
It doesn't revolve around one clear aggressor and one clear defender. This is more like of a balanced matchup between two blue decks.
I mean, probably if I had to pick one, the Blue Black Fairies is the more aggressive one,
Yes.
but not that aggressive.
It's not so clear, by the way, like maybe in game 1, yes, but in game 2 and 3 it becomes even slower as a matchup, and it becomes even more grindier as a matchup. So we will see. This like tends to be long matchups, long games. So we will see how this pans out. I think Campanino has the choice to choose between being on the play and being on the draw because it's a higher seed. He's the second. It was second in the Swiss, and Gabriele was third. So.
Chiedevano della griglia premi prima.
Who do you think is favored in this matchup? Like, resources are gonna be the most valuable resource, hence the name, but like drawing cards, board presence.
I think that if unchecked, the deck that can generate the most value is Jeskai Ephemerate, but it's not so trivial because Fairies has certainly the tools to stop what Jeskai is trying to do, and this is of course the same for Jeskai because it has removals to stop the creature-based value engine that Ubi Fairies is trying to present. But I don't know, I like the position of Jeskai, especially in game 2 and 3, thanks to the addition of Pyroblast or Red Elemental Blasts. But it's an open game. Like, the matchup, I think it's quite balanced overall. So first turns, Gabriele is setting up his plan with a brainstorm and a cycle loading and revealed. He's developing his mana base. I saw in his hand Cleansing Wildfire. So
that's gonna be really good now that Fabrizio is almost tapped out. I don't see Spell Pierces in his hand. I see a couple counter spells and snuff outs and like one or two spell starter sprites. So there's gonna be like free way for Gabriele to resolve that, which is one of the best tools, not in particular for the matchup or for interacting with his opponent, but to advance his own gameplay. Like,
yes.
Ramping in a control deck historically has been like a really good thing to do.
Yeah, from the chat they say like it's actually a good matchup for Jeskai unless Fairies manages to slam a Monarch. I get it because traditionally this kind of Jeskai decks, this kind of control decks with not so much creatures, struggle a little bit with fast Monarchs, fast initiative. So yes, if right now like 4 mana Fabrizio slams a Monarch, it becomes suddenly really difficult for Gabriele. But otherwise, I think Jeskai could be a little bit favored thanks to removals and Pyroblast both sides, and the fact that two Cleansing Wildfire are like huge, but there's a counterspell to stop that.
Yeah. Fabrizio recognizes that Cleansing Wildfire is like something that can bring the deck out of reach for him. So
Yeah, like certainly, there's also like cards like Muldrifter, Archaeomancer.
yeah.
Like these kind of cards tends to be good against Fairies decks, but in general in mirror, that like blue-based mirror, value-based mirror. So of course, Jeskai, in the way that it's constructed, is a little bit favored in the long game, I think. But yes, Monarch is something that could be that can change the texture of the game. So.
Yeah. We see a Spell Stutter sprite in end step right now, just to try and fire off a ninja on his subsequent turn. But Gabriele recognizes the play pattern, which is common, and destroys it as soon as possible.
But it was a crucial spot because once again Gabriele was tapped out, and it was another window to Fabrizio to resolve a Monarch. But unfortunately for him, he didn't have it. So Gabriele took a big risk, but he recognizes that letting his opponent to untap with a fairy ready to attack to be ninjutsu'd back in hand was even an equally scarier play pattern to face.
Yeah.
So he decided to scred the...
We're probably gonna see that again, so yeah. You can see another flurry of spells here. Like, I cast my creature, I kill your creature. But yeah, advancing the game for Fabrizio at this stage of the match is not particularly hard, but certainly he's not favored at the moment. I think he's got a bunch of removal in hand when playing against a value deck that like thrives on having creatures enter the battlefield and do stuff. It's not that great because that stuff has already been done, and we've also seen this Ogre of Bolas pick up an Ephemerate, so he's even safer now.
Yeah, once the Jeskai player can establish an Ephemerate lock, of course the game already have slipped out of control. But that is, I think it's quite far away from that stage of the game because Fabrizio, I see some snuff outs in his hands that can help him mitigate this factor and help him keep in check this kind of lock from the Jeskai player. The lists of this tournament will be published in the next few days, probably tomorrow or maybe the day after, on pauperwave.com.
Yeah, just give the guys a little bit time to collect all the data, and we'll be glad to know that as well. Meta share lists and stuff like that. We actually have seen the third Spell Stutter sprite right now, so they're just being used not as you would expect, like countering stuff, but Fabrizio needs to put some pressure on the field. Otherwise, Gabriele is just gonna take over with his Jeskai deck.
Here Fabrizio can collect a 2-for-1, removing the Augur of Bolas before the Ephemerate could resolve.
The first one of the
and now
game
the fairies returns to hand thanks to the Ninja ODD powers, and this is quite huge because it's a great advantage in this situation. And this Ninja could be unchecked. And if that is the situation, I don't see Gabriele in a good spot for now.
Yeah, a fairy deck can just steamroll from now on. And we also see another ninja in his end. So a cool trick is like declaring attacks, and if your opponent does not block and then plays a removal, which would be like a kind of rookie mistake. I'm not supposed to see. I don't think we'll see that, but you could even save the first ninja from a removal spell. And here we see a really cool piece of technology that Jeskai decks adopted in the recent metagame changes, since it's printing, or maybe it's downgrading to common. Murmuring Mystic. It's huge against fairies, I think, because it's hard to remove. Well, for the black shell, good removal is there, so it's not that hard to remove, but making flyers that can block fairies, it's really, really good. And if it's for free, since you're just casting your spells while this creature is on board, that's even better. We see a fight here on the stack for...
there's a snuff out on the stack,
a
trying to
spell.
kill this 4-drop creature. A counter spell is trying to protect it. And now Fabrizio is firing off a brainstorm in order to search for an answer. I think that is a preordain, the one you are pointing me out. Yes, a preordain or brainstorm.
Or another brainstorm, yeah.
Life totals are not correct. We're trying to fix it, I think. Yeah, now they should be correct. Yeah, brainstorm are now resolving.
Yeah. There's another snuff out in Fabrizio's hand, so this Gabriele could, this murmuring mystic could be long gone, but he still will have produced at least one flyer. We've seen
if he remembers to do it,
a
yes.
fumes. Yeah. Trigger was still on the stack.
Okay.
If you remember, actually, I see a fumes in Fabrizio's hand, which is a great option to combat the steamrolling advantage of Murmuring Mystic. But in this case, it would be just a 1-for-1. But
yeah,
still fine,
it's not the kind of card you want in this matchup. But sometimes it can come in handy in trying to clean the boards that were already too much clouded with birds.
It's a preordain.
And maybe in game one, usually you cycle it and you get a new card. But I think it's one of the cards that you can bring out for game 2 and 3.
In this situation, in particular, in a pinch, it could be like a game-ending scenario, because if there's just one blocker and I hit it, I push for lethal, you're dead. We see a really slow but sure Lawyer reveal now, and search for answers. Now the board on Fabrizio's side is cluttered. I mean, there's not that many pieces, but there's a big one and a card advantage one. So Dismal Drifter might be pretty cool to at least trade with the Ninja, but there's still a Gurmagangler to be answered. And also these fumes could be a really nice combat trick now.
Yes. Let's see what Fabrizio is trying to deploy. So an Aggro of Bolas.
Yeah.
That misses.
Ouch.
Unfortunately, in this matchup, you cannot not really afford to miss too many Aggro of Bolases, because they are like one of the
crucial,
engines that keep the cards flowing in Fairy's deck list. And you usually try to set it up like with brainstorms or preordains or ponders or such. And sometimes you have to go and cast it blindly, but usually you're not very happy when it misses.
We're still at the stage where Lauren revealed is probably, it's been cycled. So land drops are really important in control mirrors of sorts. I mean, even if it's tempo against control or control against mid-range deck, land drops are crucial to develop the game plan.
That is the reason why Cleansing Wildfire is such a key card in those kinds of matchup where you need to hit your land drops and keep your deck flowing and drawing cards, etc., because it does both.
Yeah, exactly.
Cleansing.
When do you think is when do you think is the appropriate time to start casting Lauren Revealed instead of cycling them? It depends on the situation, of course, but what do you think is a nice mana ratio to start doing that?
Costo tournament.
I tend to start casting Lauren Revealed when I have enough land drops in hand or on the battlefield in order to like be safe with my spells and colors. Attention. What?
This is a move I did not.
Yeah, maybe it's out of basics.
Might be, and he might want
because he has 7 islands, 1 mountain and 1 plains. It could be out of basics. I'm not entirely sure, but it could be.
Actually, you know what? Since he didn't even go for the bounce land, we see a Demir Aqueduct on
maybe he's trying to
Fabrizio's
resolve
side.
something now.
Yeah, he's trying to tap out, maybe tap out Fabrizio from having 2
Counter
two
spells.
counters, like passing phases and making the mana go away, just to try and resolve something.
Like a Lorien reveal.
Yeah, we see another Lorien revealed.
Of course, Lorien revealed in the later stages of the game are like what is the matchup is revolving around, because you cast this big sorcery that draws you free mana and you
It's kind of
suddenly have
overcosted.
double of the
Ancestor.
cards of your opponent.
Yeah. Also, imagine having like 5 cards in hand, drawing 3. That's okay, I'll go to discard. But imagine having 2 in hand and drawing 3. That's a big difference in resources. It's the same number, but the impact is different in my opinion. We see another removal. This is probably the 3rd scred of the match on the Gormag Angler, and of course Fabrizio has an answering hand that Gabriele knows, so if he's playing like this, he might have to respect that, but also know that having to respect that is going to, is actually accruing some value from this cast into the fire. They will resolve 2 of the most important permanents now for Fabrizio. On Fabrizio's side, he's got a blocker for the ninja. If he wants, he can try and trade it with the Mole Drifter or just chump block.
Yeah,
well,
you probably want
walls.
to keep your Mole Drifter on the table because it's a blocker for the flyers. It's a very valuable target for Ephemerate.
For Ephemerate, yeah. One of the best ones, I think.
Yes, second only to Archaeomancers.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now Fabrizio is trying to resolve his own Lorien reveal that resolves actually.
Yeah.
So he draws a Snuff Out and I think 2 spells. A Fairy Seer and a Cast Down.
Yeah. So he's got plenty of removal to try and remove the blockers he has to try and
yeah, I think
get this game done.
He's trying to push one ninja in because now he's gonna attack with both and
Yeah, and ninjutsu the other one,
Ninjutsu the
accruing
other
some more advantage by replaying.
No. It just declines this thing.
He didn't. Yeah,
And he just pushes 1 damage.
he prefers to stay open for like the cast down he has or the spell stutter.
Yeah, leaving Cast Down open is nice because otherwise Gabriele could like untap and play Archaeomancer, get back Ephemerate and start a lock. And from now on,
That's
you
a
cannot.
smart move. Yeah. And Gabriele is going for the second time for the same play, like trying to get Fabrizio mana screwed, let's say, just to resolve something pretty good. At this stage of the game, actually, getting more lands into play, it's not bad. You're getting them outside of your deck, but yeah, you don't really need to ramp anymore.
Because
You
I
got
think
plenty of mana.
he doesn't have any basics anymore.
Yeah, no, he just got one actually.
No, I mean Gabriele.
Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you were saying about
No.
Fabrizio. But it's also to tap in low enough to resolve big stuff.
So now we see a Mole Drifter art-casted that draws a Preordain and a Mystic. So the second Mystic
Yeah, this Mystic could be
can
huge.
be the thing that closes the game, but we will see because there's a Cast Down on the other side. Let's see if Gabriele can resolve it and protect it.
Or at least gain some value from it. He's opting to go for a 3 mana spell.
Maybe a Kenku, yes.
Yeah, it's a Kenku.
Artificer.
That's
he
pretty good.
He plays 1 or 2 Murmuring Mystics, I think 2, and 1 Kenku.
That's actually pretty good against the fairy deck.
Yeah.
Because if you then do not have like edict effects.
Or what is
Warp-
the name? Agony Warp.
Agony Warp, yeah. I was thinking about Warping Whale, but
No.
nah, that's another card. But yeah, it just stonewalls all the creatures that Fabrizio could put in play, and it's also a pretty nice target for Ephemerate as well.
Yeah, another one. Suddenly you can ephemerate the Kenku and have like 3 indestructible free freeze, and closing a game becomes very fast. So we see a Fairy Seer from Fabrizio. That sees a fetch land and a ninja, I think, or I saw wrong, I don't know. Definitely a fetch, and a Lorien revealed.
Okay. And they both went to the bottom, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's trying to find some answer to this Kenku.
I don't recall if he has one main deck, but... this is not the final, this is the semi-final. It's written in the bottom corner.
This is a pretty tense moment in this matchup. I mean, at the moment, Gabriele has the upper hand because this Kenku just stonewalls the Fairies deck. But he has to... and also, Fabrizio went pretty low on life by casting all those snuff outs. So, like, a couple swings from Dismal Drifter could be game over for him. Or even a Lightning Bolt. I'm not sure if Gabriele plays that. Maybe
Gabriele plays one Lightning Bolt main deck. 4 scratch and one Lightning
If he
Bolt.
just goes in now with both creatures and Fabrizio goes like, yeah, I won't block, he might be even in a position to close out the game in one swing.
So, a Murmuring Mystic is actually on the stack right now. I don't see Fabrizio with a counter spell, so it will probably resolve.
Yeah?
And now Gabriele is in a commanding position, I think.
Yeah. He had so much advantage in the early stages of the game. Then Fabrizio connected with the ninja a couple times and recouped some card advantage. But now I think that Gabriele has the upper end again.
Yeah.
He's gonna gain some life.
Union
Yeah.
of the third path.
It's worth like 4 or 5 life points at the moment, I think.
I think,
And-
yeah. I don't know if the preordain is on the stack or not. I think yes. Ah, yes, because the preordain is on the stack. Fabrizio is trying to kill the
Murmuring
something.
Mystic,
I
yeah.
think the Mystic, yeah.
Ephemerate, generating a second token though,
Yeah.
and there's another spell starter sprite, which Gabriele accepts and gets the Murmuring Mist killed, but producing 2 tokens, three tokens actually.
Preordain, Ephemerate, and Union of the third path.
Yeah. That's gonna be really good because if he's gonna start swinging with his flyers, we're gonna be seeing some chump blocks even, or trades with the bird tokens from Fabrizio's side. And he just passes a turn now. Oh, actually,
Gabriele turns sideways his flyers.
yeah, the
biggest
bigger
one.
ones, yeah.
Putting Fabrizio in the situation where he has to decide whether he wants to chump block or go down to a low life total where Lightning Bolt can be deadly. He opts to block the 3/3, going down to 4. Still safe even to a Lightning Bolt for now. The Izzet Indestructible land got 3 counters thanks to the ability of Kenku Artificer. That is a creature that on ETBs puts 3 counters on an artifact and animates it and gives it flying.
Fun fact, you cannot put more counters on the same land if you
No,
animate
because
that.
it's already animated.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a Agony Warp in Fabrizio's hand.
That could be huge.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see if he has enough time and resources to deploy everything in his hand and maybe stabilize this thing. But these birds are becoming threatening.
Yeah,
on their own.
I've also seen an Echoing Decay passing by the hands of Fabrizio in the earlier stages, but I think he shuffled it away with the Brainstorm. That could be a really good option now to clear partially the flyers from Gabriele's side, but even then, if Gabriele is smart and lucky enough, he could just remove the one targeted by the Echoing Decay spell and save the rest. He's got more flyers now than Fabrizio, so the fight is certainly on air and in the air.
We see now a pre-order that puts back the 2 cards of Brainstorm under the deck. And now we see in which order Fabrizio wants to deploy his spells. It probably starts with Echoing Decay. Not Echoing Decay, but Agony Warp. Sorry. And we see, in fact, Agony Warp probably coming down, targeting the land.
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Yes.
It's
Okay.
most probably a tool to...
And it resolves.
Yeah.
Gabriele doesn't seem to have any answers to what Fabrizio is trying to do. So we see a counter spell
and we
being
see a
revealed.
counterspell, yeah. Even if he's tapped out now, the...
Yeah, he's putting up some defenses.
Yeah,
so
the game is not over
the
yet.
game is not over yet. But maybe yes now.
Oh,
Yeah.
this might be the
Might be a short
the end step, yeah.
Ardent Elemental is coming into play, picking up
Casting to the fire, yeah.
to remove all the blockers in the
And
air.
there's
and
even
swinging.
a couple ephemerates in the graveyard as well. So yeah, having Fabrizio tapped out and used probably all the copies of Snuff House, that meant game over.
But it didn't even meet the Snuff Out because Ardent Elementalist just took up.
And he couldn't even cast that because he was on 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, a complete and utter destruction in this.
It was game
end
1,
steps.
yes.
Yeah, this was game 1. We see.
And the red card was Casting to the Fire. I mean, was Ardent Elementalist that on
it's
the
a red
ATB,
version of
version.
Archaeomancer.
Yeah, that picked up Casting to the Fire that was already in the graveyard, and the Casting to the Fire was used to clear all the blockers in the air. So Gabriele was able to then finish the game attacking with a Mold Drifter and 3 bird tokens. So let's see now. Yes. Let's see if we can get the lists.
Yeah, I've seen a couple more interactive spells from Fabrizio's
So
side.
this is Fabrizio's list.
Yeah.
He
There's
has
these spells, of course.
Dispels, Stormbound Geist.
Yeah. I've seen him put in a couple Blue Elemental Blasts as well.
Yes.
If not all 4.
He has a lot of interesting things to bring in, like Foreign over Black Rose, as we said. Monarchs are pretty good when done fast in this matchup.
Yeah, if you
because
can slam
this guy
that-
has a not great time to recoup the Monarchy back. And what else?
Well, I see an interesting one. There's still Sabotage. That's not a counter for Artifact in this particular case, but it could be really huge.
But it's too narrow to bring in my opinion.
Well, I think I'd bring it in because if you like prepare enough against Cleansing Wildfire and you try and bounce the land that's being targeted, that's disastrous for Gabriele. He doesn't just lose a card from hand, but he also loses a tapped land drop.
I mean, I get the thought behind this thing, but I think that in this value-based attrition matchup, I don't know if you can afford to put such a niche specific card. So I would rather prefer like cards that are always or almost always good, in order to not draw blanks when the situation is like more tense and needed.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe let's see what Fabrizio is trying to do. So this was from Fabrizio's side. Let's see if I can get Gabriele's list.
Yeah. Well, if my imagination is correct, he's gonna bring in some Pyroblasts, of course, just to use them
He has
either as Vindicates or counterspells.
He has 4 Pyroblasts, and notably one campfire in the sideboard, and I think these 5, maybe not 4, surely, like the 4 pyroblasts, sure. The campfire, I don't know, maybe it's for the black-green matchup, but maybe could come in handy also here. But I don't think anything else being so much. Maybe the cast into the fire, but
Well, there's 3 breath weapons.
yeah, but I think like from an experienced blue-black fairies player, I think is going to bring out the fairies here because they're not so impactful.
We've seen that he's done that already.
Yeah, you don't want to play under a potential breath weapon. You don't want to play against a potential cast into the fire. So I think Spellstutter Sprites remain in the main deck just as a counter for 1 mana spells like blasts, cantrips, and ephemerate, removal spells. Like they are already good like that. You don't need to counter more than 1. I think 1 or 2. So. Yeah, I think Fairy Seers are going out.
Yeah, they're out, but I think that from the perspective of the Jeskai player, you cannot not respect the fact that there's 1 mana on 1 flyers on the other side, or they might be. So probably, not 3 copies because that's overkill, but maybe 1 copy just to record with the Archaeomancer effects might be good enough to. It might be good enough.
Yeah,
to
they could
bring
come in handy maybe to clear opposing Murmuring Mystic shenanigans, but we'll see. It depends on how many dead cards you have in the main deck.
Also, we see these upgraded Evolving Wilds we just received that also gives unblockable to some creatures. In a pinch, might be good for some ninjas to
it's good
to go
with
through.
ninjas, and in a metagame where Monarch and Initiative are key features, I think getting 1 unblockable attack might be relevant in some cases. Otherwise, it's just a normal fetch land.
Yeah, in a pinch, it could be game over if you're swinging with a Grumagangler as well, and your opponent is at 5 lives.
It doesn't give unblockable to creatures to just 2 powers or less.
Oh, okay. I'm mistaken then.
So let's go back to the chat so we can see what are you saying to us.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
So Gabriele just fetched this snow-covered island, which notably is his third land drop, but just the first one of snow type. So these creds will have to be powered up a little bit just to try and kill bigger things than 1/1 flyers.
Yeah, but in this stage of the game, you just want to remove 1/1s like Spellstutter in a pitch, but the time for Scred removing like bigger creatures is later in the game, I think. Let's see. So a BojukaPod is exiling a small graveyard from Gabriele. BojukaPod is a interesting card in this matchup because can damage Gabriele's graveyard. Right now, it has been used like a normal land drop in turn 5, but it didn't do much. But later could be recovered with a bounce land and be replayed again to have a more impactful effect. So Brainstorm countered by a Spellstutter Sprite, as we said. Actually, Spellstutter Sprite doesn't need to counter anything more than a cantrip or a 1 mana spell, so it has done its job.
We now see a couple of interactive spells that can be really useful on stack. We see a Pyroblast and a counterspell in Gabriele's hand. Another land, another basic one, so Scred's now up to 2, able to kill some ninjas eventually. And Fabrizio just drew, I think, the singleton copy that he has of Suffocating Fumes. He didn't bring it out because it's such a versatile card that, you can like just take it in.
He left it in his deck, I think, just because he wants a clean way to clean all the
Bird
tokens,
yeah.
in a situation where Mystic comes out of hand, if he doesn't need it, he can cycle it. It's a quite, as you said,
Bad ratio.
yeah, but
It's acceptable.
It's
You take your
acceptable.
medicine and cycle
Yeah.
it in a pinch if you need
Here at this
a fresh
spell-
card. Yep.
trading up with a counter spell, 1 mana for 2 mana, protecting a Muldrifter that hasn't been cast with its evoke cost. So we will.
And we actually see
Yeah.
the fume cycle now, just to trying to find.
I think we will see an
a one mana
ephemerate
spell.
because now Gabriel
It's evoked.
is
Yeah.
evoked. No, not
He just
ephemerate.
lets
Yeah.
it die. He wanted to spike it. I think there's none in his hands. And there's the Monarch. And if Gabriel does not have a quick answer to this might be really huge for Fabrizio.
Yeah, this is what we were saying before. Like, Monarch on an empty board is not easy for Jeskai to deal with, especially with that. Like, Ubi Fairies has a lot of removal to protect the queen. So
And if you see, he's not attacking with the spell starter because he's like afraid or at least aware of a Kenku Artificer being that might be on Gabriela's hand. Remember that the animated land might be hasty, so he wants to protect the queen as much as possible.
yes,
We see the Pyroblast used as Vindicate in this scenario, and he just drew up a Scred right after. So
let's see. Cleansing Wildfire,
that's Cleansing Wildfire, yeah.
targeting an indestructible lands. Actually, he's grabbing more blue mana because it only had 2 mana, 1 island and 1 bridge. So
Yeah, and
Blue
he has
mana-
plenty of red.
yeah, blue
already.
mana is a necessity right now. So he draws a card for the
Cleansing Wildfire.
Cleansing Wildfire.
Yep. So in this position, I think that Fabrizio is favored because when he untaps with the Monarchy in hand and a grip full of cards in his hands as well, there's not much that Gabriele can do to recoup the card advantage that the Monarchy triggers at end step
Here
can
we
provide
see-
him.
Ooh.
This is ugly, but
Yeah.
necessary probably.
But here he did pick up the.
The spell starter sprite.
Yeah, I think he has a counter spell for sure. Otherwise,
He might have that, or he might has to get Fabrizio tapped low just to resolve some bigger
Okay, yeah,
spell.
he has a
he has a
counterspell,
counter
okay.
spell. Yeah,
because otherwise it would have been very ugly.
yeah.
But we are sure that Gabriele, being here, knows how to place his spells in a correct order.
A couple threats have left the side of the battlefield from Fabrizio's perspective, but the biggest one is not a creature. You cannot interact with that. It's the Monarchy. And that's gonna be pretty hard for Gabriele to get back at this point. We'll see, but
It's not over, of course, because Jeskai can keep up a little bit with the Monarch for the first turn. Like, you can also play Muldrifter and play Ephemerate and draw
Lower
a lot
Reveal,
of cards.
yeah.
You don't need to like gain the monarchy back as soon as possible, but in the long run, you die to Monarch. So the deck lists are not available yet. They will be published probably tomorrow or the day after on Paupergeddon.com.
and there's the Kenku. This is gonna be really good
Yeah.
because he's gonna steal the Monarchy and
And leave
That-
behind a blocker that can protect the
Yeah.
monarchy.
And also, that's going to be tough to kill as well, because I think there's only that one agony warp in Fabrizio's deck to try and get rid of that. Yeah. And it's not in his hands at the moment. He's got a Snuff Out, which is going to get rid of the blocker,
He has some
probably.
extracted confessions, but I don't know if he boarded them in.
Mm-hmm. We see a counterspell here on the Snuff Out. And a Brainstorm in response. And there's the Agony Warp. That was clutch. It was really good. A really good pickup there. So there's still Counterspell on stack, but yeah. This Agony Warp is going to get rid of.
But there's a Pyroblast. And Pyroblast counters.
There's also Pyroblast. If that resolves...
But there's also a counterspell on the other side.
It's going to be a pretty nice battle, yeah. And a quite big step for Fabrizio's perspective as well, yeah. They're now correctly resolving the stack spells.
Let's see, now the counterspell is still in the stack. Fabrizio is responding with his own counterspell.
With another counterspell, yeah. He really wants to get the Monarchy back before resolving the Agony Warp. And there's a stutter, but no warp. He's just gonna soak up some damage.
He doesn't need it now.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's gonna soak up some damage on the next turn and exchange the Monarchy once again, but...
He can block with the spells.
Or that, yeah.
Or
he has a land, so everything is fine now. And he went did you... I think he's asking if he already made a land drop, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. So this is going to get really tough for Gabriele now. He lost a land drop, which actually still matters in this matchup at this stage of the game. And he doesn't have an answer in hand. I see an Archaeomancer, which is probably going to be played right now. Just getting back probably a removal spell or the Lorien Revealed, I'd say. Or maybe the Cleansing Wildfire, just to recoup some card advantage. But now the board is what's important. And yeah, he's got a Scred. We got an update from the other semi-final match, and Pietro Bragiotto is up 1 game right now. And we see now a Murmuring Mystic being played from Fabrizio. So relentless smashing of creatures on his side of the battlefield. And Gabriele's got an answer for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He resolved it on the stack with a Pyroblast.
Yeah. You were saying correctly as well. Now the Blue-Black Fairies deck has accrued so much card advantage through the Monarchy triggers, but he has only got 1 card in hand, and Gabriele's got 1 as well. So they're pretty on par with resources.
Yeah, but Fabrizio is drawing 2 cards a turn, so
yeah,
this parity will be soon dispatched.
Achieved. Yeah.
What is playing Bragiotto? What is Bragiotto opponent playing?
We'll try and ask now and let you guys know.
I know that 2 of the possible opponents he could have are both playing. One is playing Boros Glitter and the other one is playing Blue-White Glitters.
Okay.
But I don't know which one got through the quarterfinals, so I don't know if Bragiotto is playing against Blue-White Glitters or Boros Glitters, but some kind of glitter deck.
And Bragiotto himself is playing Familiars. Ooh, and now we see a huge turn from Gabriele, a turn on events as well, because he's got an Ephemerate on the stack and a counterspell in hand. I mean, the Ephemerate is now on Rebound, soon to be casted again.
This is huge, yeah.
Yeah.
This lock is...
that's really, really, really good. He now just needs a creature that can steal back the Monarchy just to...
Yeah, but you can keep up, with this loop, you can keep up with the Monarch triggers.
Yeah, you're still getting 2 cards per turn, and then those are selected as the best cards you could have in that specific moment of the game. So getting back a removal spell to get rid of some creatures on
Yeah, you can loop
Fabrizio's
counter
side,
spells
loop
and
counter spells, protect your now new queen, I'd say. So if Fabrizio was trying to protect the monarchy, now Gabriele has to protect the Archaeomancer from Fabrizio's removals. And if he can achieve that, the game might be reverted.
The rebounded Ephemerate targeted the Archaeomancer, and the Archaeomancer coming back to the battlefield picked up the Ephemerate itself from the graveyard. So it seems like he drew it, but he was just shortcutting like that. Yes. So Gabriele is. Oh, let's see. There's a Murmuring Mystic hitting the stack. Let's see if how Gabriele wants to resolve it. But because I think there will be some sort of counter spell or. Oh, he resolved. And there's a BojukaPod. The second copy of BojukaPod, I think, or just the first. I don't know. But a copy of BojukaPod that cleans the bean. So Gabriele doesn't have access with this Ephemerate and Archaeomancer lock to bring back everything he wants, but there's a Lorien Reveal that can change again the texture of the game. 3 new cards in hand for Gabriele. And
no response from Fabrizio,
no.
So this is huge.
I saw an Augur of Bolas, but there's also a counter spell, and I think some other things like there's the Ephemerate and the counter spell.
Yeah.
So.
We see an attack now from Fabrizio. That's probably been, that's a ninja. So he's trying to get through and get some card advantage as well. And then there's the Monarchy trigger at end step. He picked up a Dispel, which could be pretty nice, but it's going to be hard to break this loop. I mean, he has to interact with it at least twice. And Gabriele understands the situation, doesn't want to top too low to risk it. And also to attack back and get the Monarchy and steal it. And we see Fabrizio in a really tough position now. He's got a removal spell, but he knows for certain that there's an Ephemerate in Gabriele's hand. So
he can try to force it and try to counter it with the Spellstalker Sprite.
Spell.
But Gabriele has enough cards in hand. He's trying to do it.
And he also knows that there might be a counter spell in Gabriele's hand.
Yeah, there is for sure because I saw it.
Yeah.
Fabrizio, I think, doesn't know. It wasn't revealed, so... Let's see. Ephemerate, trying to save the Archaeomancer. Spellstalker Sprite trying to counter the Ephemerate.
Storm count 3.
Not relevant, but
yes. We're gonna see more. 4.
Cast into the fire. Nice way to use this otherwise dead cast into the fire. Hydroblast. No, rather Blue Elemental Blast.
Blue Elemental Blast, from Fabrizio.
The stack is becoming quite crowded.
Cluttered, yeah.
Counter spell and Dispel, and counter spell
and another counter spell. And Fabrizio just goes like in the most Italian way. Mamma mia.
Counter spell counters the Dispel. That was targeting the counter spell. That was countering the Blue Elemental Blast. That was targeting the cast into the fire. That was targeting the Spellstalker Sprite. That was targeting the Ephemerate. That was targeting the Archaeomancer. That was targeted by a Snuff Out.
Is that like a good night fairy tale?
Yeah.
Is that a rhyme?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
It's a child rhyme.
A child rhyme, yeah. A nursery rhyme. That's
rhyme.
The name, yeah. So everything is resolving in random order, I'd say, but
they understood each other, so that's the important thing.
And I think that the most important thing is that the Archaeomancer didn't deal damage to Fabrizio, so it didn't steal back the Monarchy.
Yeah, but is now Fabrizio has no cards in hand because he spent all of his cards in the exchange, and
he picks up
Gabriele has his lock back on.
Uh-huh.
He decided to let the Augur of Bolas resolve,
but
it
Augur
whiffs.
misses once again. He's got a blocker though.
Yeah,
now.
but now Gabriele has the lock on with a counterspell backup, and I don't see him losing quite easily. I mean, anything,
There's still the possibility.
anything can be possible.
Yeah. Oh, we see plenty of spells now. Just a couple cards before those, and that Augur wouldn't have missed as well. We see the brainstorm resolving. Yeah. It's a pretty tense match. I mean, there's like
Yeah, it's a nice match.
so many resources exchanged from these two really good players, I'd say, because they're really taking some risky lines at times, but some really safe other ones. And it's really
there's a
enjoyable to
brainstorm
watch
on
them.
the stack right now, but
Yeah.
it's actually resolving. So
And we see a dispel, I think. Did he pick it up?
now there is a preordain,
Oh yeah.
the Doctor Who art. There's an
So-
Ogre of Bolas for sure, and something else. I didn't see well.
So no answer for this ephemerate, I think. There's another brainstorm, but
Let's see now. There's a dispel.
there was a dispel.
But there's the counterspell that has been cycled through and through with the ephemerate, so
Yeah, Gabriel just played like 7 or 8 counterspells this game. The actual counterspell.
that's the thing I like of Jeskai Ephemerate. When you have to put your lock and be shielded with infinite counterspells.
He's also got another ephemerate now and 2 white manas up, so I think the door is closing for Fabrizio.
Yeah. Every turn now the door is closing more and more. Like the Monarch is helping him, like letting him breathe
It's just helping
A little
him
bit.
like survive the game.
under
He's
the
also
surface of the water, but it's
yeah.
it's like
He's also
beginning to
at
drown.
5 life, so
yeah.
he's pretty low. We see another ogre. Let's see if this one can hit something. With 1 card in hand, Gabriele might be tempted to actually counter that. He does not. And
Yeah,
it still
he-
does not pick up anything. It's
Yeah.
2 in a row. And
this is hurting.
it's the third one we've seen on Fabrizio's
Gabriele
side.
recognizes that his game plan, yes, is to protect the Archaeomancer until Fabrizio doesn't have a response for this ephemerate and is continuously cycling this counterspell and ephemerate and is now in a huge commanding position right now. Even versus the Monarchs, and he
Here's
extends the hand.
handshake.
And
Yeah,
there's the handshake
that was such a
and the
tense
concession.
match. Yeah, the crowd is actually applauding now because it was really good magic. I mean, they both recognized actually they knew the play patterns, recognized the stumbles from their opponents, one each, and Gabriele took the crown for now, and he's gonna be in the semifinals.
Yeah, in the finals.
In the finals, actually, yeah.
Yeah, we're waiting for the other result of the top 4 of the semifinal. That is Pietro Bragiotto against sorry, I don't know, but one between Bartoli Lapo and Raffaele, of which I don't know the surname.
Okay. We're gonna be sure in a couple of
Yeah,
minutes, I guess.
they are both playing glitter decks. So the first one is playing Boros glitter. The second one is playing blue-white glitter. So we'll see if Bragiotto, with his familiar deck, can overcome the glitter strategy, and we will see then how the finals shape up, because we will most certainly have a blue mirror, because 3 out of 4 decks are blue based.
75% chance. Yeah.
75% chance, yes. Actually, no, 50% chance.
There's a percentage.
There's a percentage
I
we
know.
we cannot calculate.
There's
but-
a number, but numbers are ethereal at the moment.
And yeah, so right now we have to wait a little bit, I think, for the last semifinal to end, the second semifinal to end.
We're
And
gonna
then
go on
we
a
will
break for a little
yeah,
bit.
like 5 minutes break, 10 minutes break, I don't know. And we will come back later as soon as we can start. So don't go away.
Yeah.
Stay with us for the last
Stay
match.
tuned for the finals. This is the finals, the actual finals for this Paupergeddon 2024 winter edition in Lecco.
Yes.
And I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Like, I know one of the guys is pretty good, and the other one as well. So I guess that's gonna be amazing to watch. So stay tuned.